right, I think we're good. All right, think I'm on time for a change. Wow, everything worked out. Maybe I gotta start doing this at midnight instead of in the morning or in the afternoon. The band isn't so taken up. I don't know. We got a bunch of people. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if it's a StreamYard thing or internet thing or what, but it went really smooth for some reason, and I haven't really done anything different. So, anyways, hey everybody, welcome to the Treehouse of Positivity, Joey's Treehouse, and Blind Spot. Hey, I got good news. Uh, I wanna, I'm excited about it. That's kind of why I didn't do a weekly positive message yesterday because I was researching. Um, I was talking to a friend, and he told me about a friend of his who works at MIT, and they came out with this awesome invention, which I guess 90 something percent of the inventions um, that come out in the world really come from MIT. Then the 10% of the regular people like us, they come out with cool stuff. So, anyways, so I was thinking I do a lot of I talk to a lot of people, and really positive people, and I don't really ever consider interviewing them on this channel because I don't think about that kind of stuff like I did when I first started this channel. So I think, and I know I mentioned that in the previous uh, podcast that I was wanting to get back into that this year, and I was talking to my Aunt Jay, and we talked about some spiritual things and everything. And I was thinking while I was chatting with her, she's so positive. Why haven't I even, thought about interviewing her on my channel? So I'm going to ask her, um, and maybe she would. She's a spiritual person. She grew up in a family that was, you know, Christian, and yeah. So she's uh she's an old soul. She got still has a good, heart, a big heart, and I think it would be kind of fun. So, oh, maybe that would open up some doors for everyone's minds, because she's a smart lady, way smarter than I am. And yeah, so I'd like to I'd like to get some wisdom from her and share. So okay, so um, talking with my friend, and he called me excited. That, Joe, you ever heard, uh, you know what MIT is? I said, yeah, isn't that like a school, right? He said, yeah, it's uh, where 90%, of inventions. He said, hey, I'm going to send you a link um, to this new invention. Well, what is it? He said, well, I could explain it to you, but you probably think I was full of crap. He said, so I'll just send you the link. And I said, all right. So he texted me the link, and I copied, pasted it, and put it in my web browser, opened it up, and it took me to the MIT uh, website. And it didn't take me right to the article he was talking about. So I said, all right, I got to call him. And I called him. I said, hey, what am I looking for? I said, the link you took me to just took me to the website. I don't, I don't know. I'm looking for an invention or something, or what am I looking for? And he gave me the name of the invention, but I didn't. I just sent me the link to the just sent me the link to the page. He said, well, He said, well, hold on. He said, I think I had to put a password in. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. I'm not hacking MIT. He said, no, it's not classified or it's not whatever. He said, you, because they want you to donate or something like that. This is the way to bypass. This is what his friend gave him, I guess. And I said, I won't. I'm not going to share it with anybody else. So, because I'm not that kind of person. But I mean, I said, you might want to ask your friend to just send me. That way, what if it's a one passcode kind of deal, and then you get the information and you can't reuse it or something. Like it's time sensitive or something. And I don't want to get in trouble. So, because I don't know, I know MIT's got government contracts and that kind of stuff, and I don't want to. Anyways, long story short, ended up talking with his friend, whose name is Rodney. Rodney, yeah. Um, and he said, "Yeah, I'll send you a link." And I said, "Well, can you send it to my email? That way, I if you send me a text message, then I had to copy paste it and all that crap. On my email, I could just open it up and it'll take me straight to Safari." And he said, "Oh, you're not going to want to use Safari." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because it's not protected." I said, "Well, I have DuckDuckGo, and it's got the thumbprint for unlocking and the privacy and all that." He's like, "All right, use that." Um, so I had to change my settings, and I did that. And then I opened up the email and clicked the link, and it took me to the MIT, and I put the password in he told me to put in, and it worked. And all this for an invention that's supposed to be open to the public? What the hell? I said, why couldn't I just? Anyways, I asked a lot of questions. So, and he said it's not classified, it's not government, it's not whatever. It's just kind of they don't want a lot of people to know about it right now, but they're wanting to get a few small handful of people to give feedback on it. And I said, so I'm not allowed to talk about it? He said, no, you can. I said, well, I have a podcast. I said, can I share it on a podcast? I don't have that many followers. He said, yeah, sure. I said, okay, uh, because we could all use some good news, right? And so, okay. So I open it up, I go to this thing, and it's not, I can't see the graphics on it or nothing. So I have to go to the instruction and the history and the analysis and the summary and all that and the how much it cost to put this stuff together. Anyways, so the summary was it's an invention they just created. Um, it's made of like silk. Um, it's like a silk blanket kind of thing. They said it, and it's got these electrode diode things or whatever, like electrolyted diodes, something like that, and intertwined in it. So I'm thinking it's like a thermal blanket, right? Like they have on thermal blankets, but it's not cotton or wool. It's a silk uh, sheet or something like that, and it's about the size of a beach towel, I guess, like 5 feet by 4 feet or 3 feet or whatever it is. They went by centimeters. I'm like, how many centimeters are in a foot? So I had to use a calculator. Damn MIT getting me all into math and stuff. All right, so yeah, it was like 4.5 feet by 5 something, and I'm like, okay. And then they, I'm like, what are they gonna do with this thing? What is it for? Why would they use silk? And so they put this waterproof sealant around it to keep the electrodes, diodes, whatever they're called. I can't di I can't remember the name for it. Diagnostic electrodes, something like that. Something. Anyways, I'm thinking it's like the same kind of thing they use in a thermal blanket or in a blood pressure cuff kind of thing. I don't know what it is. So uh, what they do is uh, it, they wrap this thing around like a fish, like a big fish, like a maybe like a spoonbill or a swordfish. I don't know if they've used it on a shark. I wouldn't want to use it on a shark. I said, well, it's not big enough to put on a whale. So what is the point of this thing? What is, are they trying to cook fish underwater? What are, you know, are they what? Oh, they use it on a dolphin, a baby dolphin, um, something like that. And they and a couple of other species of fish. I can't remember all of them. I think there was some kind of a swordfish, some kind of a, what did they catch? Well, marlin, marlin. Um, they were in Florida with it or something. They caught it. They caught the marlin and then they wrapped a blanket around it somehow. And I don't know. Anyways, I'd be scared to wrap anything around a fish because especially if it has a nose that's sharp. I don't want it to get stabbed. And but anyways, so they wrapped this blanket thing, silk blanket thing around this fish, and and I said, well, what? And I'm thinking, I'm reading this thing. I'm thinking, well, I wish I could ask questions because it's taking too long just for my voiceover to read this. Siri doesn't read fast because I don't want to miss anything. So I slowed down the pace, so I could understand. Uh, so it's going through and it's reading it, so it's supposed to pick up the like sonar, that fish have, and then something happened where they were getting the signal, um, like you would on a human, like if you're using these electrode diode things on a human, you could see kind of how they're thinking, maybe, or like what side of the body has more, uh, you know, electrode, electri whatever, neurons are firing off and that kind of thing. And then a fish is kind of the same, but it's their whole body instead of, you know, their little bitty brains, because they don't really use their brain, not for communication. They use the energy in their bodies, to give off these signals or whatever. So that's why they used this this silk blanket thing to wrap around their bodies and not just put these little diode things on their heads like they do with humans. Um, and it came out like on a human would, it would left and right, and so they took all this information back to the MIT lab or wherever they were at, and they analyzed it for a bunch of months, and then they went back. They found a different species of fish, and they did the same thing. So they're doing this all in the ocean, and the West Coast and the East Coast, and then the Gulf Coast, and that just around the U.S. and I think they went to Hawaii or something. But um, so they're doing all these things, and so they found out there's a spectral that's not very observant. It's kind of small, and it picks up like in humans and in chimpanzees and stuff. It picks up uh, like what kind of language they could speak. If they spoke, but what the language would, like some cultures who speak, Eastern cultures speak a dialect. It's like a certain dialect or something, um, and their brains analyze this language in a certain way, so they are able to pick up this certain frequency from this part of the brain in chimpanzees and then humans. And in the spectrum, the same spectrum showed up in the fish in all of the species they checked. And so now they're thinking, well, we could kind of predict what language these certain fish, would have if they could speak. You know, like what would their accents be like? And that kind of thing. And it blew their mind because when they tried to re uh, when they tried the different species, they were very similar uh, dialect, and um, so they're thinking, well, okay, well, but I guess something sparked up, and it was very similar to a dialect that humans speak that already exists, and they said it would kind of be more like an Italian accent than any other species on the planet that speak. You know, whether it be chimpanzee or even dolphins have the blowhole where they can speak. You know, but they communicate. They don't communicate that way with other fish. They communicate with outside. Um, and I think whales communicate with that kind of same thing, with that blowhole kind of, that kind of thing. But they said it would be more like an Italian accent for the fish. All of them, not just not just certain species, but all of them have that same would have that same dialect, like an Italian accent. And I said, oh, I said I know why, because of all the mobsters that sleep with the fishes. Get it? Sleep with the fishes. All right. Anyways, that was the joke. I did all that for a joke. So I hope you're laughing because it was good. And I think I might have got you. I think I got you. All right. Well, that was the weekly positive message. Sorry it was late. I uh, I had a lot of time to meditate yesterday, and time just kind of went by really fast. And by the time uh, I was ready to do a weekly positive message, um, it was already you know past midnight, and I'm like, oh, I missed today. Damn, I'll do one, and I missed today too because I woke up late because I stayed up late. So yeah, I get a busy mind, and it's hard to shut off sometimes, even when I'm sleeping. Uh, so I started meditating, and then I fell asleep, and I slept about 10 hours, which is good. My Kundalini needed it, I suppose. So, all right, well, hope the rest of your week is great, and I'll try to see what I can do for next Sunday. Um, Maybe there'll be an interview. We'll see. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye for now.